Warning, meteor shower in range.
Just little one.
The torque and transmission load data are looking good.
Great. Let's proceed to the rough road tests.
You got it.
As you can see, astronaut flight training isn't like anything you've ever experienced before. It is intense.
We would like to invite you into our Oasis courtyard to experience the awakening, a special pre-opening where we celebrate the birth of a new day.
WDW Radio, your information station.
Welcome to the WDW Radio Show, your Walt Disney World information station. I'm your host, Lou Mongello, and I want to thank you for tuning in again this week. This is show number 61 for the week of April 6th, 2008. In this week's Walt Disney World news, there's some important information coming from the Walt Disney World Resort about what the future holds for guests looking to stay on property, as well as more from the resorts and the Magic Kingdom. The Walt Disney World rumor mill was quiet this week, but stay tuned next week for more rumors from the parks. With all of the wonderful news coming out of the DVC this week, I wanted to bring you what I can best describe as the ultimate guide to the Disney Vacation Club. So I'm pleased to be joined by Michael Collier, Quality Assurance Manager for Disney's Vacation Club, who spent some time with me not only answering some frequently asked questions, but explains the process, cost, point system, and benefits. He'll also help clear up some of the misconceptions and concerns, explains what happens once you step inside one of the kiosks located around property, and so much more. It's an in-depth look at all the aspects of the DVC and why the Disney Vacation Club might be right for you and your family. In my continuing tribute to Disney's Animal Kingdom's 10th anniversary, which is being celebrated in the parks this coming Earth Day, April 22nd, I want to once again welcome in one of Disney's Animal Kingdom's cast members that works backstage to help make the magic for us on stage. He is a zoological manager at Disney's Animal Kingdom's Animal Nutrition Center, and he gives us a unique look at just how the thousands of animals around the parks and resorts get their share of the exceptional dining options at Walt Disney World. I'll answer more of your emails about half-day tickets, the International Gateway, Darkwing Duck and Walt Disney World, and more, and I'll also play more of your voicemails at the end of the show, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. We'll begin this week's look at the Walt Disney World news over in the Magic Kingdom on Main Street, USA, where the Chapeau recently opened after a brief refurbishment, and as I had mentioned a few weeks ago, guests can now create their own custom Mickey ears, complete with a variety of ear, hat, and decorative options. However, as part of the refurbishment, the store was extended into the area formerly occupied by the Disney Vacation Club. Now, tying into the rumor that I mentioned back in early March, it looks as though the permit filing for the Fantasyland Circus Wagon will in fact be an alternative DVC kiosk location. I'll put a link in this week's show notes page to the permit application, and of course, when the new kiosk does open, I'll be sure to let you know and get photos for you for the site. The large bronze statue of Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse located in the hub of the Magic Kingdom, known as Partners, seemed just a little bit different on my recent visit. Mickey Mouse seems to have changed just slightly, as though the patina on his face, pants, and shoes has been purposely altered to give it a more gold appearance, which is in stark contrast to the original bronze color of the statue. I think it was a nice enhancement to the statue and doesn't take away from the artistic integrity of it at all. I want to quickly mention one brief refurbishment that's taking place this summer. Pirates of the Caribbean is going to be closed from June 5th through June 18th, so plan your vacation and your potential disappointment ahead of time. As far as I know, there'll be no significant changes or additions expected to take place, but then again, you never know. We'll see what happens when it reopens in mid-June. Effective today, Sunday, April 6th, 2008, the pricing structure for ECVs, which are the electric convenience vehicles, and stroller rentals, which hasn't had a price increase in 3 years, will be as follows in not just the Magic Kingdom, but all the Disney theme parks and downtown Disney areas. An ECV rental will now be $45 per day with a $20 refundable deposit. That'll be $100 in downtown Disney. A single stroller rental is $15 per day with no deposit. You can also do a length of stay stroller rental. That's $13 per day. A double is $31 per day with no stroller deposit, or a length of stay double stroller rental is just $27 per day. Let's move right over to the resorts, because this summer, the Wave is going to debut at Disney's Contemporary Resort. That's going to serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's going to be located on the first floor of the tower with what's called a super lounge. It's going to be an upscale restaurant offering bold American cooking with flavors from all over the world. The menu is going to be seasonal and feature local and regional products when possible, organic beers, and trendy cocktails such as the antioxidant Cosmo with acai juice. The innovative wine list has a quirky claim to fame. All the wine bottles are screw caps, no cork. There's also going to be some cutting-edge wines from around the globe that are going to be showcased. Again, that'll be opening this summer. Once I get an exact date, I will, of course, report it here on the show. The first 2,500 kids ages 14 and under who are going to be attending each of the Tampa Bay Rays 3 games against the Toronto Blue Jays at Disney's Wide World of Sports from April 22nd through the 24th are going to receive a limited edition Rays mini baseball bobblehead of Disney characters. The bobbleheads are going to feature Donald Duck on April 22nd, Goofy on April 23rd, and Mickey Mouse on April 24th, all decked out in Rays baseball attire. Walt Disney World has just announced its spring room-only offer for room-only discounts in April through May. If you book from March 27th through April 19th, travel most Sunday through Thursday nights from April 20th through May 21st. You can visit DisneyWorldTrivia.com to get the code, as well as book through my recommended travel provider, MouseFan Travel. You're looking at rates for value resorts from $84 per night. Villa resorts, including a Saratoga Springs studio, start at just $224 per night. Now, maybe owning a vacation club property isn't quite what you had in mind. No, you'd rather do something like live not just near Walt Disney World, but in it. Well, soon you may just be able to, as the Orlando Sentinel is reporting that Walt Disney World is negotiating with Orange County on plans to build homes on what was Disney's Eagle Pines golf course. It appears that 3-story mansions and hundreds of other homes, most valued at millions of dollars apiece, are going to be built along the banks of the Walt Disney World canals and sold to private individuals in a project that's currently being reviewed by Orange County officials. The homes will mostly be single-family residences, but may include a few condominiums. The nearby Osprey Ridge Golf Course, which has also been closed down, is also going to be incorporated into this development, which is now being called the Northeast Resort. Disney has remained relatively quiet at this point, but if you recall, back in March of 2007, they did confirm that they would likely be building a luxury housing resort on 429 acres in the northeast corner of the property. The anchor for this resort is going to be the Four Seasons Luxury Hotel, located on another section of the former Eagle Pines golf course. Now, Disney is asking Orange County to rezone this property as a planned development with areas defined for single-family homes, multifamily homes, timeshare units, and conservation easements. The Sentinel is further reporting that the project could encompass as many as 373 single-family homes, 200 multifamily homes, and 60 timeshare units. Orange County would provide such services as utilities, fire protection, and sheriff's patrols because the property is also going to be de-annexed from the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which is the independent government district which was created back in 1967. So technically, you won't be quote-unquote on Disney property per se, and thus you're not going to have voting privileges in Reedy Creek, etc., but you will be located inside the Walt Disney World Resort. It's being speculated that Disney might market these homes to overseas markets where guests might come and stay for weeks or even months at a time, and for whom the dollar's value might make it an attractive purchase. Otherwise, due to the high cost, it's expected that some homes might be used as primary residences for people moving from other locations in the United States. Now, work has already begun clearing the land for the custom homes, and it's expected that it won't be completely finished for upwards of 10 years. Of course, I'll report on any new information as it's released, but to discuss this or any other news items, or if you have any other news that you want to share, you can visit the WDWRadio.com forums over at DisneyWorldTrivia.com. By now, we all know about Disney's best-kept secret, or worst-kept secret, and that's Disney's Vacation Club. We see the kiosks throughout the parks, we see the materials online and throughout the resorts, but a lot of us don't know maybe all the ins and outs of the DVC, what it is, and why maybe the DVC is right for us. And for many people, DVC is known as Disney's version of a timeshare, and that is a misnomer for many reasons, in both name and in concept. And to help answer some of these questions and maybe clear up some of those things is Michael Collier. He is the Quality Assurance Manager for Disney Vacation Club, and I want to welcome him to the WDW radio show.
Hey, Lou, how's it going? Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on, and we're actually sitting outside of the very beautiful Saratoga Springs Resort. We're by the pool. We're enjoying some of the atmosphere here. We thought this would be a nice place to kind of sit and talk about it. And like I said, Michael, to start off, like I said, we've seen the kiosks. We know about the DVC, and I'm sure you, like many other people, cringe when we hear it's Disney's version of the timeshare, because for many reasons it is different. So can you tell us a little bit, starting off, maybe why the Disney Vacation Club isn't a timeshare and what sort of the advantages are of it?
We like to describe it as Disney's version of vacation ownership. It truly is, because a lot of people, what we found is that we have guests that come to Disney, and we've asked them, if there was one thing that you could do at Disney, what would it be? And they've said that they would love to own a piece of the magic. And so Disney Vacation Club really allows our guests to be able to own a piece of that magic, have a place to call home away from home, which is one of the reasons why when you are greeted here at Disney Vacation Club, the first thing that we tell you is, welcome home. And our guests really do appreciate it. It is very different from what many people know as timeshares, being the kind of the high pressure, sales types of environments. And what our members find is that when they come to our open house, it's very much the opposite of that. You can walk up to one of the Disney Vacation Club kiosks just to ask for directions or to ask for information about the Disney Vacation Club. And we have there what we call ASAs, our Advanced Sales Associates, who help you to understand a little bit more about Disney Vacation Club. And if it's something that you want to find out more about, we set you up with a time to visit the open house, and we can get you over here, or you can drive here yourself and find out more at the open house.
All right, what I thought we'd do, too, is maybe address some of those questions, because, like I said, we all kind of understand it in concept, but really don't know about the DVC, or maybe who is it for? Is a DVC just for those people that come every 6 months or every year? Who really is best served by the DVC?
That's a great question. Disney Vacation Club is really for everybody, every family, anybody who enjoys fun and vacationing and this Florida sun, absolutely. Because it's we have a lot of DVC members who they come every 3 months, 4 months. Sometimes they come twice a year, or sometimes they come as much as 4 times a year. But then we also have those members who it's their first time here at Disney. It's their first time being able to experience Disney. And they find that the Disney Vacation Club allows them to experience it in a way that, rather than paying for that vacation every year, that becomes more expensive every year, they can come into the Disney Vacation Club as a member and pay today's prices for vacationing that's going to be happening for pretty much the next 50 years at today's prices. They don't have to worry about the cost of those vacations going up. So what it really comes down is to their vacations are paid for. All they have to do is show up, find a way to get here, and obviously take care of food when they get here, which is a great reason why the Disney dining plan is a great deal as well, because now our members are able to get the Disney dining plan when they book their vacations.
And obviously this is just kind of one of the many benefits. And we're going to talk about some of the other membership benefits that people get from the DVC, again, as opposed to maybe a timeshare somewhere else, above and beyond, again, being able to stay on a Disney resort and the exceptional service. Michael, obviously one of the most important considerations for anybody that's considering the DVC, and maybe it's one of the things that keeps them from entering that kiosk, is the cost. People might say, well, you know what, there's no way I can afford a timeshare, certainly not on Disney, because it's going to be way too expensive, but that's not really the case.
Absolutely. That is one of the things that hold people back. But you don't know what you don't know. And one of the things that they will find out at the kiosks is that with the price at the minimum price is $16,640. Now, you may say, well, gosh, what does that get me? Well, that gets you 160 points. We talked a little bit about the point chart and how that works. And when you think about that $16,000, that's going to get you anywhere from a 45 to 50-year vacation time frame, okay? So that $16,000 is paying for the vacation that you're going to be taking 50 years from now at today's dollar. When you look at the fact that the average family size of about 4 spends anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 per vacation, and if they're doing vacationing, once or twice a year, say they're doing it even once a year, $3,000 a year in 5 years is $15,000. Now, yeah, after that 5 years, you know what? You had a fantastic time, even if you did spend it at Disney here, and you have all those pictures and those video camera memories. But you know what? Those vacations are over. And now next year, you know what? The prices are going to continue to increase. Here with the Disney Vacation Club, when you become a member, your price is locked in. So if you entered at $16,640, that $16,000 is going to get you 50 years of vacationing, or just about, and the membership here at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort doesn't expire until January of 2054, the year 2054. And at Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas, it doesn't expire until January of 2057. So you can do the math, and once you start to realize that with the annual dues of just being, having that maintenance and that upkeep, you never have to worry about cutting the grass here. You never have to worry about taking care of the pool. You never have to worry about the paint on the building or anything else. It just makes sense. And so I would really, press upon our guests and our members to look more into it, because there's a great wealth of information out there, and you'll be very pleasantly surprised, I'm sure.
And just trying to quickly do the math in my head, above and beyond just really paying for your vacation in 5 years. I mean, you can justify it after 5 years, but consider if you kind of break it down night for night, you're going to be paying the same, if not even possibly even less than what you'd be paying at a moderate resort on a per night basis.
Absolutely. When you start to do the math on it, for the amount of points that you're going to be using, say for a 1 or 2 bedroom, even in a studio, in many cases, the amount of points that you're using for the studio over that time frame, that 50-year time frame, when you start to break it all down, you're paying less for that studio per night than you would at even one of our value resorts. But one of the best parts about the Disney Vacation Club too is that you can use your points at our deluxe villas resorts. You can use them at our deluxe resorts such as Disney's Contemporary Resort and Disney's Polynesian Resort. You can also use them at our moderate resorts, just like Disney's Coronado Springs and Disney's Port Orleans resorts. So you have a vast array of different vacation options, and it really just depends on what our members want to do, how they want to vacation. And I bring up the minimum purchase price, but you could start anywhere from $16,640 to up to $200,000 and $300,000. So it's really all about how our members like to vacation most. And if you're a one-time-of-year type of family, or if you're a once-every-other-year type of family, we have a vacation plan that would work for you as well.
So really, you're getting a larger room at least a moderate or deluxe resort with more amenities and more benefits that's going to be paid off in 5 years for 50 years of vacations. When you just kind of talk it out that way and do the math that way, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. We have financing from 1, 5, and 10 years. So most of our members usually have their vacation, their membership paid off within 7 to 10 years. Actually, I should say really 6 to 7 years they have it all paid off. And we find that they break even at about that 7 or 8 year mark if you're coming once or twice a year. So from there, everything else, as we say, is just gravy on top, really, because it's you have over 40-something years of vacation to complete.
And you shouldn't let the 16,000 number shouldn't throw you off, because you don't need to walk in and plunk down $16,000 when you leave the resort that day. You can obviously, like I said, finance it over time, and again, do the math: $16,000 over 10 years.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's the way to look at it, and obviously comparing it to the way that you vacation now, the amenities that you are getting for what you're paying at a regular resort, and then you look at what you can be getting with the membership using your points at these deluxe resorts. And I think when our members look at that, just the bare bones of it, it really does make sense, and it opens up a whole new world for them.
So what is that 16,000 or roundabout number? Yeah. What does that get you as far as, are we looking at terms of weeks or where can they stay? Can you explain to us maybe the point system and what your home resort is and sort of the flexibility that all that gives you?
Right. So in addition to the affordability, we have the flexibility, being that we do operate on a point system. The Disney Vacation Club point chart is based on 3 different things. You have the resort that you're staying in, the size of your vacation home, and the season of use. So obviously during a high season, you're going to be using more points, but also you can choose where you want to stay. So different resorts will choose to use different points. And then the size of your vacation home will also garner different points. So that really allows you to have that flexibility in how you would like to break your vacation up. You may choose to do maybe 2 days in a studio and another night or 2 in a 2-bedroom. But that $16,000 purchase gets you 160 points. And to give you an example, during the value season here at Saratoga Springs Resort, or it could be about 11 points or 8. I think it's 9 to 11 points a night at a studio. So you can imagine with if it's 11 points a night at a studio and you have 160 points for your year, and this 160 points is given to you every year. So you can deplete the 160, take as many vacations as you want to, or use it all up in one big vacation, and then you can come back and do it again the next year. And if you want to, if you're not the type of family that chooses to vacation every single year, you can do what we call banking your points, and you can bank those 160 points so you can defer them until the next year. And so what that does is takes your 160 points that you have this year and couples them with next year's 160 points. So now you're talking 320 points to vacation with. And like I said, if you're staying in a studio or maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom, however the size of your family, whatever you need, it allows you to get quite a bit of a vacation. During the peak season in Hawaii, you can use these points not only just at Disney Vacation Club resorts. We have 8 Disney Vacation Club resorts, but we also have over 500 vacation options available to you outside of the Disney Vacation Club resorts. And one of those being, you and I were just talking about Hawaii, a very well sought after destination. Many people love to go and have been, and many people haven't been. Well, during the peak season in Hawaii in a 1-bedroom, using the Disney Vacation Club points, 160 points will get you a full week in Hawaii during the peak season. That's not bad at all.
I'm starting to find myself looking to maybe go back into Saratoga Springs and talk about this some more, because one of the things I wanted to talk about too was the flexibility. People say, well, I'm buying at Saratoga Springs or I'm buying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but you're not locked in to your quote-unquote home resort. Can you explain to us the home resort and the other properties at Walt Disney World and the other places worldwide? In addition to Hawaii, obviously there's Disneyland as well.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Here at Disney Vacation Club, like I said, there are 8 resorts that you can use your points in towards the Disney Vacation Club resorts. Those are, including Vero Beach down in South Florida. You can go to Hilton Head, Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort. You can use your points here at Saratoga Springs, also Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas, which is one of our newest additions. So there's 8 resorts that are in this DVC family to use your points. And it really allows you to have that home resort. That home resort is when you come in and you buy at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, the home resort really gives you an advantage because you get an 11-month priority period to make your reservations, as opposed to someone who might own at Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas. They will only have 7 months to make those reservations here at Saratoga Springs Resort. But their home resort, Animal Kingdom Villas, allows them 11 months to make their reservations there. So it gives you that 11 and 7-month priority period by having the home resort. And again, that adds to that flexibility.
Right, and that's one of the things I was thinking too was, again, who is a DVC for? Is it for the family that, on a whim says, hey, let's go to Walt Disney World next month, and they do that a couple times a year? Or is it for the family that says, you know what, my kids are only out of school, I can only take off work during this time of year, and I want to book my vacation for 2009. So I'm assuming it's really for kind of both.
Yeah, it's for everybody. As I said, it's for the guest that comes once, twice, maybe 3 times a year, or it's for the guest that comes once every other year. It really just depends on how you want to vacation, and that's the difference. One of the major differences with the Disney Vacation Club is that we're here to make sure that we can cater to your style of vacationing. When you come to the open house, there's going to be a lot of questions that are asked about your vacationing style because we want to understand how you vacation. We don't want you to necessarily vacation how we want you to vacation. So, which is why you're not locked into coming into the exact same resort, the exact same room during the exact same week every year. That's just not the way that it works, and it's truly paid off because our members truly love the flexibility. We've been around for almost over 16 years now, and we have very many members who will give testimonials as to how great the Disney Vacation Club is and how it's been for their family. It's a great thing when you can have the Disney Vacation Club to fall back on to make those magical memories for your family, because when you think about it, your family now, the average family size of, family of 4 comes down on vacation. Well, over the years, that family starts to grow. You reach different milestones. Maybe it's a graduation, a high school graduation where, rather than giving a small graduation gift to Cancun or something, maybe you want to go to, you want to send them down to Disney, or maybe to use their points here in Hawaii. So you can give them the gift of the Disney Vacation Club and using even a portion of your points to allow them to do a lot of those have those vacation experiences. Through marriage, we have a lot of people who will come down for their honeymoons on their points. We have a lot of people who will come just as a gift. Many people will buy Disney Vacation Club as a Christmas gift. So their parents will come in and they'll buy this thing and they'll say, okay, I understand you're going to send all the information, but don't send it until like December 26th. Do not send it before, Or they want to make sure, of course, that the membership kit that we send them, once they become members, they want to make sure that they get it so that they can actually wrap it up and have it under that Christmas tree so that when that family opens that, they get that nice surprise of being able to vacation, like I said, for 50 years, and it's already taken care of.
And you're talking about family growing and things changing. Say I buy X amount of points, but I find, what, I don't want to just go once, a year for a week. I want to come a couple more times. Can you add on points? Can you buy more points?
Absolutely. You can actually add points all the way up to 2,000 points at your home resort and up to 5,000 points collectively at all of our DVC resorts.
That's called just moving in, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're moving in. And again, it puts a whole new spin on welcome home when you have that many points, because we have some members that own 5,000 points, and they will come down, and usually they're retired, but they'll come down and they'll stay for about 6 months at a time, and Disney is truly their second vacation home. It is a place where they escape to get away from the reality of the world and come into the place where fantasy is reality and reality is fantastic.
Absolutely, and again, there's so many benefits that are obvious of staying at a DVC resort and staying on property. Again, just looking around Saratoga Springs, I've had occasion to stay here, and it's spectacular. I mean, some of the rooms are amazing. Yeah. But what are some of the other benefits of being a DVC member? You talk about being welcomed home, and you're kind of part of this larger family that obviously has a lot more benefits than just being able to stay here when you need to.
Right. Well, in becoming a member, you also have your own, what we call DVC Member Services Advisors. That's the department where, when you call to make those reservations, you're not just calling the regular Disney line anymore. Now you're calling your DVC member line. That gets you your one-stop shop to take care of your reservations. They can help you to take care of your flight, your plane tickets. They can help you to set up your dining. And that is reserved just for our Disney Vacation Club members. Also, just by becoming a member, you start saving money on the things that you were going to do anyway, such as shopping and eating. We have great shops and great restaurants around. As you know, Disney Saratoga Springs Resort is located right across from downtown Disney, so you can either walk there or you can take the water taxi to get over. But in there, you have all of these shops, and all of our DVC members receive a DVC membership card, and that card gets them countless discounts across property at different restaurants and merchandise locations, from anywhere from 10 to 20% off. And when our members check into a DVC resort, they get what we call our DVC perks pages, and that gets updated, but it shows where those discounts are, so that when our members come in, all they do is flip through, they find the dining portion of the booklet, find where they get the biggest discount, and they go there to eat. So that's one of the great perks as well. We have the Disney Vacation Club member golf program where our members can get discounts on golf. And as you know, we have 99 fantastic holes of golf here at Walt Disney World. So you can always find a beautiful place to play. And again, just having that comfort and that peace of mind of knowing that you're going to have that Disney quality of guest service regardless. You know, from the kiosk where you first find out the information to the transportation driver who is taking you over to the open house, to the very when you step off the van and go into the front desk and they say, "Welcome home. How can I help you?" And they are already expecting you to be there. So they set you up and you can go on to tour and see our open house and check out the models for the Disney's Animal Kingdom villas as well as the Disney Saratoga Springs resort rooms, and then to the quality assurance managers, that'd be me, and my team. What we do is take care of you, making sure that you understand, and we can review the membership with you. We go over the documents that we're going to sign to make sure that you understand how that all works, what your membership entails. And just make sure that you're comfortable with becoming a member. And from there, we can help you to make those first reservations through the member services, Disney Vacation Club member services.
Something else, people, I guess I almost took it for granted that people might not realize is the difference between the rooms, between a resort room and a villa, they're referred to as villas, and the different types of rooms are available. Some of the amenities that are included in a DVC villa as opposed to what you'd find in your room at an all-star resort or a moderate or even a deluxe. Tell us a little about the different types of rooms and what kind of amenities people could expect to find in there.
Let me ask you, Lou, have you ever checked into a resort room and said, "Gosh, this is a little cramped. I need a little bit of elbow room"? Well, that's one of the things that the villas with Disney Vacation Club allows you to do. We have our deluxe villas where you have the kitchenette inside, you have the couch, you have the TVs, you have the many times the 2-bedroom separated bedrooms, queen size beds. You can request the king bed as well. The fold out couch. You have beautiful furniture that's in there, so it really just gives you that room. It gives you, you have the stove in there, you have the oven, you have your dishware included, you have the microwave in there if you just want to make a quick meal, and many of them have patios where you can just sit out and enjoy some of that Florida sunshine. And so it really does give you that space as opposed to what a resort room would give you, which is why we do refer to them as our villas. Even in the studio, you'll find that you have a lot more room in the studio than in many of the hotel rooms that people are used to.
And you get that sense, you say welcome home, but you get that sense of being home, maybe because some of those amenities are there. And I know for myself, who has 2 young kids, granted, I won't start cooking meals, especially with all the restaurants that I have to choose from. Right. But in the mornings, when you're getting everybody ready, maybe you don't want to go sit down and have a full breakfast. It's nice to be able to make the kids a quick breakfast or have a snack in the middle of the afternoon if you come back to the pool. And like you said, the kids can go to the pool, you can go back, you can sit on the balcony, and it really becomes a vacation resort destination as opposed to get to the room, drop off the bags, run to the park. So you can really enjoy your resort.
And to that point, one of the great things that our members are able to do is send a list, pretty much a grocery list of what they would like when they show up here to our DVC resorts. Let member services know, and for instance here at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, member services will make sure that list gets included in their reservation so that when they arrive, all of their groceries are taken care of at what we have as Artist Palette. It's a counter service eatery, but it also has the place where you can get you can buy your milk, you can buy cereal, you can buy quick sandwiches and things like that. But you can also buy a few groceries that you might need if you do want to cook in the rooms inside of the villas. So that's a really great advantage of having, again, that service that member services is able to provide you, but also just having that convenience of being able to call and say, "Here's what I need, can you make it happen?" And that's one thing that we do. We make the magic happen for our members.
And the thing too is nice is if you have a large family, if you're traveling with a large extended family, you can go beyond just the studios and the 1-bedrooms and 2-bedrooms. I mean, there are accommodations that can house a much greater size family if you can all spend. If you all don't mind being in the same facility for that long.
Right. Well, we have here at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, our Grand Villas is a 3-bedroom a 2-story unit that holds 12 people, up to 12 people. And, I mean, you talk about space. It's over 2,000 square feet. That's bigger than my condo that I live in now, so almost twice the size. So you can imagine. I mean, and these are the places that people have only dreamed of being able to stay in. Most people vacation, and they find themselves in those resort rooms. And if you have up to 12 people vacationing with you in normal circumstances, you're going to rent out 3 or 4 rooms to make sure that everybody is taken care of. Whereas with our Grand Villas, you can have the whole family together. And you can imagine what a Super Bowl party would look like in a Grand Villa, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or many of these holidays, these cherished holidays that our families like to create those memories for anyway. We have many member families that come down during those holidays. We have Christmas traditions that are held here. Because families come down every Christmas. That's their family tradition. And even if you're staying in a 2-bedroom, again, this goes to that flexibility. If you're staying in a 1 or 2 bedroom and the family isn't coming in until sometime later on in the week, you can set it up with member services so that even if you are staying in a 1-bedroom for 4 out of the 5 nights that you're going to be here, that last night can be spent in that Grand Villa where you have those 3 bedrooms. Up to 12 people can stay in there, and that's up to 12 people sleeping in there, so you can fit a lot more than 12 people in there, and you can have that. You can make that family memory very special.
Yeah, and I know, just speaking personally, that was always, that's what I love about here. It was born out of the memories that my family and I had together, and we've traveled with our extended family. And again, like you spoke about, we would try and have those 4, 5, 6 rooms. My parents want to have an adjoining room so they could see the grandkids. Here, that's not an issue anymore. And there's much more livable space that people can go and just relax. So if Grandma, Grandpa want to stay around and just relax and sit on the balcony, the kids have a place they can go play. Everybody's got a bedroom. You're not on top of each other, which is a nice feature. And
you have all of the resort amenities. I mean, you see the pool right here, and it's packed. It's spring break for a lot of the students, and Easter is just over, so we have a lot of member families that are down here just enjoying the Florida sunshine, like I said, getting away from some of the brisk weather that's going on up north right now. But you have resort amenities like the pool. We have a beautiful arcade. We have a game room where our members can go in and play PlayStation. Play all of the games that they enjoy playing. We have where you can rent the Surrey bikes, so the family of 4, 4 people can ride the bikes together and do that as a family and take those pictures and enjoy. And it's things like that keep our members coming back, and we are constantly looking for ways to improve our level of service and the level of amenities that we're able to provide to our members, and they appreciate it. And then, we talked a little bit earlier, but to go back to it was. You don't only have these resorts that you can stay in. You don't only have the 8 Disney Vacation Club resorts that you can stay in. You can choose Tokyo Disney Resort. You can go to Hong Kong Disneyland. You can go to countless places throughout Europe. You can also use your points towards Adventures by Disney. Adventures by Disney, as you know, is a guided tour experience where everything is taken care of. Many of the meals are included throughout your stay. Actually, for my honeymoon, I'm planning to go to Costa Rica to do the 10-day Adventures by Disney trip, Costa Rica, where you can go zip-lining through the rainforest, and your meals are included. You go to Arenal, where the volcano is. You can peek down into the volcano, go into the rainforest, and all of these things that, like I said, most people can only dream of. We're able to use our points to do that, and it is truly amazing.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing. That's exactly where I was going next, because that's a recent addition that you can now use your points not just for a Walt Disney World vacation or Hawaii or Vero Beach. You can now use them for the Disney Cruise Line, and again, the Adventures by Disney, Costa Rica. We're not just talking about places that are in the continental United States. We're talking about places like Tanzania and China and around the world.
Yeah, it truly is. It's amazing. In addition to Adventures by Disney, you can use your points towards the Disney Cruise Line. Many of our members choose to do the cruise, and every year we have what we call the DVC Member Cruise, and that usually happens later in the fall, usually late October, early November. But it's when our ship one of the ships is chartered out completely by DVC members. I had the opportunity of being there in 2006. And on the DVC member cruise, we also had a lot of featured speakers, a lot of Disney legends and people that that many of our Disney guests are very interested in and would love to hear what they have to say. And one of those people ended up being Roy Disney. Walt Disney's nephew was on the ship. And it was fantastic. The president of Disney Vacation Club, Jim Lewis, had a sit-down kind of talk with Roy, and it was at the Walt Disney Theater there on the ship. And so, we all sat down as we witnessed their interview, and it was just amazing. And Roy is just one of those guys. He'll say hi to everybody. He's very, very comfortable. Walking and talking to everybody. He spent some time on the beach while we were docked over at Castaway Cay, and which is Disney's private island there. And poor guy, he got a little mobbed though. Everybody wanted to have a little bit of his time, but he was okay with it. And he spent some time out there, came back on the ship. So those are some of the things that our members can use their points towards as well. We mentioned some of the places outside of Disney and some of the places that you mentioned, but just going back to Hawaii, we have over 27 resorts in Hawaii alone that you can use your points towards. And those are many times week-long stays. We have some of those stays where while they are maybe week-long, we have many resort destinations around the world that allow you to have nightly stays as well. And of course, those are a different amount of points.
Michael, in talking about some of the other destinations worldwide that people can go, you happen to mention that there's resorts in Hawaii that Disney guests can go and enjoy. But one thing they might not realize is that there will soon be a Disney Vacation Club resort of its own in Hawaii.
Oh, indeed. A new addition to the Disney Vacation Club family is going to be the Ko'olina Resort, Disney's Ko'olina Resort, which is going to be there in Hawaii. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful island resort. I've only seen the conceptual drawings just yet. It's not set to open until 2011. So many of our members are really looking forward to that, trying to figure out how soon they can buy into it so that they can become members there as well and have that as one of their home resorts as well. Because again, with that home resort priority period, you get that 11-month booking window, so you can start making those reservations early. Many of our members on the West Coast were also very intrigued to find out that we were expanding Disney's Grand Californian Resort out at Disneyland, at the Disneyland Resort, so they can start using their points there and have another place to call home on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm personally excited about Hawaii. I've been there for my honeymoon a long time ago, but to know that you've got a place that's truly paradise on earth, now bringing that Disney exceptional quality of service and quality of accommodations and that quote-unquote Disney magic that they're able to transplant from the theme parks to the resorts makes it even more enticing.
Can you imagine? I mean, really, just being in Hawaii, laying on the beach, and having that true Disney guest service there with you while you're on vacation for your family. That true family destinations. That's one of the things that keeps families coming back to Disney and has kept them coming back for over 50 years. It's just that true Disney touch of family and respect and values, and being able to take that abroad to places like Hawaii is just a grand slam. It's a great idea. I'm really glad that Disney Vacation Club is going that route, and our members are very excited about it as well.
Michael, I had one other question that I thought about as well, which is what happens in certain situations whereas maybe the parents who buy the DVC membership, they pass away as they get older in time, or if they want to gift it, if my parents decide that they want to buy me the Animal Kingdom Villas and want to gift it to me, Can you transfer it that way, and can you pass it down to your kids?
You absolutely can, and that's one of the great things about the Disney Vacation Club is that you can transfer or will your membership. So when you do, or when members are coming in to purchase this for their families, again, they're buying what is, almost a 50-year membership in most cases. Many of these members that may come in, they may already be, in their 50s or 60s. So they realize that, unless there's some marvel of technology that allows them to grow to be 120 years old, things happen. And so they can always put this into a will. And indeed, it is willed to their children or willed to whoever they'd like for it to be willed to. It can also be transferred in that if Lou, once you become a member and you decide that you no longer want to vacation here at Disney or around the world, which...
Blasphemy! How dare you say that?
Exactly. But if that happens to be the case, you can transfer it to your children, or you can transfer it to a family member, however you'd like to do that, because it is indeed your membership.
Well, let me ask you this then. Say, for example, 2008, I can't go for whatever reason. Kids are in school, I'm really busy. Again, God forbid I couldn't get down here, but my cousins want to come down, or my uncle comes down. I can make a reservation and they could use my points?
Absolutely. You would call Member Services, the team that I told you about, that takes care of all of your reservations and your flights and everything, but you would call them to set up the reservation in your family's name. However, whoever you want to come down, or your friends, if you wanted to send your friends down, you would set the vacation up or set the reservation up in their name, and then they would then check in under your membership. As long as you were the one making that reservation, you can have anybody that you want to come down here experience that magic with you.
All right, so we've talked about, some of the differences and some of the advantages and why we're going to save money by buying DVC, the level of service we're going to get. I know from hearing you talk, I'm a little bit more convinced than maybe I was before, because some of those questions have been answered for me. But I think a lot of people, you're walking through, you see the kiosks in the park, and you say, you know what, I don't want to go in there. I'm afraid it's going to be like one of those timeshare things. I'm going to get scooped up in a van and dropped off in some conference room somewhere and locked in there for 6 hours until I sign a document to leave. I'm on vacation. I don't want to take away from my vacation. Tell us, allay some of those fears for everybody about what happens when you walk into that kiosk. What's the experience like from when you get into the kiosk?
When you go to our Disney Vacation Club kiosk, like I said, it can be for as simple as asking for directions to asking what Disney Vacation Club is all about. And, many people they're very scared to ask those questions, because experiences in the past or what they've heard of at other places have shown them that, that's probably not the best thing to do, is go up and ask questions if you really don't want to know the answers. But what we find, though, is that with the Disney Vacation Club, it's a very no pressure situation. All we want to do, what we plan to do, and what we strive to do, is to make our members knowledgeable, make our guests knowledgeable of what Disney has to offer. When you're coming here to the parks, you want to know everything that the park has to offer. When you go into our resorts, you want to know everything that the resorts have to offer. And just being a bigger part of Disney, with Disney Vacation Club, we want you to know what Disney Vacation Club has to offer to you. Because if you're going to be here at Disney and you're spending your money to vacation anyway, we want to let you know how there is actually a better way to spend your money and to vacation around the world. And so what our ASAs will do is just give you really basic information as to how the Disney Vacation Club works. Answers a lot of those questions that our members might have. Is it a timeshare, or and how much does it cost, and what are these points all about, and where can I stay? And they don't go into too much detail, because that's what the open house is all about. You come to the open house and you'll be able to actually see the model rooms. You'll be able to see the accommodations that you can stay in at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, or you can even see the model rooms for the Disney's Animal Kingdom Village. You'll be able to see that, touch it, feel it, get a true understanding of it. And what our Disney Vacation Club guides, the ones who are taking you around to show you these places, what they want to do is make sure that, again, that we're catering to the way that you vacation, that your family vacations, not the way that we want you to vacation. So again, it's a very no-pressure situation where we want you to make the most educated decision, and we want you to realize that while Disney Vacation Club may not be for everybody, it is for most of our members. And we find many of those members who decided to walk past the DVC kiosks in the park, they'd seen them 5-10 years ago, and they, one maybe the wife wanted to go over, and the hubby's like, no, don't go over there, they're going to get you, They end up joining later, and they always end up telling us, goodness gracious, if we would have only done this 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And what I always tell them is that, you know what, as long as you're not saying that 5 or 10 years from now, you've made the right decision. You're doing good. And it really has shown it has done wonders for so many families.
Excellent. If people want to learn more, maybe either before their next trip, or maybe they kind of just want to take some baby steps and not even talk to somebody, maybe learn a little bit more while they're at home, is there any place they can go online? Is there anything that any kind of materials that they can get sent to them?
Yes, absolutely. They can always go to DisneyVacationClub.com, or they can go to dvc.disney.com. disney.go.com. And you can request a DVD, just request information to see what it is we're talking about. You can understand a little bit more about the flexibility and the affordability, the convenience, and the exciting parts about the Disney Vacation Club, all that it has to offer. And if you want to go further and find out more information, our Disney Vacation Club guides are always willing to assist and give you more information on that.
All right, well, Michael Collier, Quality Assurance Manager for the Disney Vacation Club and 2006 Walt Disney World Ambassador. Yes. I want to thank you very much for taking the time, answering some of these questions for us, clearing up some of these things, and telling us a little bit more about what Disney's Vacation Club really is.
Well, look, I want to thank you again for just coming by to ask these questions, because, again, many of our guests are kind of scared to ask these questions, and so I think this gives them a great forum to hear a lot of these answers for themselves, get an idea of what it is that they need to know, and maybe next time they're in our parks or in our resorts, they will stop by that kiosk and say, hey, I heard a little bit about this. I'd like to learn a little bit more about it, or maybe going online at DisneyVacationClub.com to get that information as well. But, as I told you before, you have a great passion around Disney, and it shows through your radio, and we appreciate it as well.
Thanks very much. Now, take me inside and show me those Animal Kingdom Lodge villas.
All right, let's go.
As I mentioned last week, with April 22nd marking not just Earth Day, but the 10th anniversary of the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, I wanted to feature on the show more than just the magic that we see on stage, but more importantly, what goes on backstage. For that's where the magic really takes place in a variety of ways, and thanks to the hard work and dedication of so many talented cast members. So often when we talk about Walt Disney World, the topic invariably turns to food. The quality, the wide variety of choices to satisfy any palate, and just how exceptional the offerings are. But we as humans aren't the only ones that eat at Walt Disney World, and eat very well. Because at the Animal Nutrition Center, as they say, it's all about food. And you may not realize that the animals here at Disney's Animal Kingdom and other locations around the Walt Disney World Resort eat just as well as we humans do. Thanks again to the help of the Walt Disney World Company this week, I once again have another exclusive interview to bring to you. This week, I'm joined by Gary, who's a zoological manager at Disney's Animal Kingdom's Animal Nutrition Center. He's going to take us backstage and show us just how the thousands of animals from hundreds of different species are fed and cared for each and every day. We'll start with Gary introducing us to some of the gourmet kitchens backstage where we conducted the interview and just what goes on there. Enjoy. Gary, like I said, why don't you tell us a little about, where we are backstage?
Okay, we're located backstage behind Conservation Station. We have an actual working kitchen that you would see in most facilities, any restaurants or hotels. The food is top-notch quality that we get from the Disney warehouse. It's the same stuff that you would buy at a grocery store. It's human-grade quality, top-notch. Looking in our kitchen, we have a variety of prep stations that we try to keep our stations based on taxon. We have one station that takes care of all primates. Then we have a station that we actually keep all of our meat and fish products. We try to keep the cross-contamination to a minimal. Then we have one station that we specialize in gel products. The gel products is stuff that we can use supplements or any kind of medical item. We put it into a gelatin product so we can hide that, because most animals are just like humans. They don't like taking medicine. They don't like taking vitamins. After first day, fine. The second day is fine. That third day, they're not interested. So we have to use a lot of tricks, and one of the tricks is use a gel product.
It sounds like feeding your kids the same way, kind of sneaking food in with the with their sweet foods. But there's so many animals when we talk about Animal Kingdom. Obviously, all of them need to be fed. Like I said, you talked a little bit about some of the different stations. About how many different animals need to be fed on a daily basis?
That's approximately about 400 different animals.
So we're talking about not just running out to the Publix and picking up a couple of grocery bags full of food. What kind of food do you actually have brought in? What's actually grown here? And then how do you sort of go through? Tell me about a typical day of preparing the food for the animals.
Okay. All of our produce, like I said, comes from the Disney warehouse. We get deliveries 3 times a week in the morning. Most of our other products, like grain and supplements, are usually once a week that we buy from commercial vendors. Then we do have fresh browse, and browse is something that's like banana leaves or acacia ficus or cactus pads or roses. It's stuff that's grown, and we have over 150 acres here at Walt Disney that all of our browse is grown, and that is fed out daily to all of our animals. And browse can be used for like an enrichment for the animals, but also it's put out so the animals can protect our exhibits. The animals will go out there, and we want to try to keep the exhibits nice and green. And without browse, they'll start eating the exhibit itself.
So, for example, specifically like the safari, so you don't want them actually eating the scenery. You want that you bring out special food specifically for them.
Yes, that's correct. The elephants alone will get about 2,000 pounds of browse a day.
Wow. And what does a typical elephant eat in that 2,000 pounds? Is it all plants, or is it some vegetables and fruits?
The elephants will get their maintenance diet, which is a herbivore grain product. They'll also get coastal hay. Then they do some training with the animal, which will be apples, carrots, and sweet potatoes. Then while on exhibit is, again, the 2,000 pounds of different browse items, which could be pennisetum, willow, banana leaves, grass flats, anything that you would see out in a forest or a green setting.
So the animals are fed both on stage as well as backstage, because not all the animals are on stage at the same time, correct?
That's correct. Typically an animal can get fed at least twice a day, usually an AM diet and a PM diet. And the AM usually will be on show, and the PM will probably be off show. Most animals are food motivated, so to help get that transition, an animal on and off exhibit or off show, they use that food, and they also use audio cues to get the animals to go in and off show.
Okay. And tell us about the staff here. How many people do you have working on the staff? And I have to assume because so many animals, maybe some eat more during the day, some are more nocturnal. How do you kind of do that rotation?
Okay. Well, our cast here start at 5 a.m. We have 22 cast members. We have 1 nutritionist, 1 lab specialist, then a wide variety of casts that prepare the diets and deliver to each area. We prepare our diets throughout the day, then deliver them to each of the animal areas. Then it's up to our cast members in the animal areas to cut the diets even further, put them out on exhibit, locate them in specific spots, and feed. Then we also have a night team that takes care of a few animals just specifically at night, including the endangered key larger wood rats.
And what about the background of some of the cast members? Are they about veterinary medicine? Or are they cast members that might just start off from the college program? So, for example, the reason why I'm asking is if somebody says, hey, I really have an interest in working with animals, I'd love to work in this sort of division, what kind of background would they need to have?
Typically, you look for biology, animal science, animal management. We do have 4 college interns that rotate on a 6-month assignment, but we also have a wide variety of backgrounds, including food prep and restaurants, business management, entertainment. So we do have a wide variety, and usually we have a program that's called a trainee assistant, where we take a cast member throughout Disney. They apply, they interview, and it could be from any line of business, and they're with us for 6 months, and we teach them the line of business of animal food prep.
And Disney's Animal Kingdom is not the only place on property where there are live animals. People might forget that you actually have live animals that need to be fed in places like the Living Seas. Is that prep taken care of here as well, or is that taken care of over in Epcot?
Actually, we prepare an aquatic fish gel that's delivered to Epcot. Then the cast members over there take care of the feeding of the animals, but we do deliver or make the gel and deliver it to them. But we do all the diet preparation and delivery to the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Now, you talked about, preparing food specifically for the taxonomy of each animal and the species and whatnot. What about individual animals? Are there do any or all the animals have individual dietary requirements and have to have a special food made just for them?
Yes. Actually, the way it starts out, an animal's diet would be kind of a maintenance diet that's generic for that particular group of animals, like a lion. But once you get to that point, you take into consideration the size of the animal, if it's underweight or overweight. Also look at some of its medical conditions. If it's geriatric, it might have teeth that's worn down, so you might have to change its diet from either like a ground food to more ground up to a mush base. So you look at the health of the animal, the size and body condition of the animal, then also just its general personality. Some animals a lot of times may not like the same thing that the next animal. Gorillas, primates are a prime example. They get enrichment every day, but they may like prunes one day, but that might be for two of them, but the other two don't like prunes. So we have to kind of take that in consideration and offer them something else.
So I guess a lot of the animals seem to have their own distinct personalities. When they come in here, how long does it take them on average to sort of get acclimated to this new style and the new type of food? Because obviously they're not getting this gourmet style food out in the wild.
Transition can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on where they came from, if they were wild caught or if they were coming from another institution and what diet they were on. But we try to do the transition pretty quickly between a 2 to 6 week period.
When we were walking here before, they had demonstrated to us some of the foods that are mixed in with what the animals eat. We're seeing some Gerber rice cereal. I've also seen Pedialyte, which anybody who has kids is familiar with. Are those more for medicinal purposes? Are they for flavor purposes?
Well, we use it for two different purposes. One can be enrichment, which is something to entice an animal's natural behavior on exhibit. But also, a lot of times we try to use stuff for medical items. Like I said, if an animal is on a medical shot or needs to take a pill, a lot of times they won't take that just as is. So we have to use different tricks of the trade. We can use oatmeal, applesauce, apple juice, oatmeal is a prime example, and we hide that medicine in there so that it gives them that flavor, that taste to take the medicine.
Now, one of my next questions was going to be, what are some of the more unique items that animals eat? But on the table behind you, I see a box of live worms. Tell me about who would be getting the live worms.
Well, your live worms is used for a lot of your insect-eating birds. The only animals here at Disney's Animal Kingdom that we feed out live is mealworms, waxworms, and crickets. And most of those go to insect-eating birds and mammals. As far as unique foods, I would say probably Fig Newtons is used occasionally for medical items. Also Jell-O, but we try to keep the Jell-O as clear, like a lime or a blueberry. We try to avoid dark colors because we want to allow our cast members, as they're feeding the animals, to distinguish between the food item versus if it's blood or not. So we try to use light-colored food colorings and Jell-Os.
So now earlier you had talked about how there were really about 450 different species of animals that you have to prepare food for. How many, in bottom line numbers, animals are we talking about?
Approximately 2,000 animals total here at Disney's Animal Kingdom and Animal Kingdom Lodge.
And like I said, that's about 4.5 tons of food a day. Now, we're actually standing in, I guess, one of your smaller warehouses. Give us an idea of some of the items that obviously people can't see, but we're taking a look at in here.
Looking in our hay and grain room, we have a wide variety of grain products. Currently, we use up to 81 different types of products, grain products. Most of them are commercially made. Some of them are local. We also have some coastal hay, Timothy hay, alfalfa, and straw. The straw is actually used for bedding, while all the hay products is used for diets.
Now, you talk about a lot of the hay products and grain products, but we know that not every animal here is an herbivore, so I have to assume that there have to be some meat products that have to come in. How do you guys handle that?
We buy a commercial meat product that's specially made for zoo animals in the zoo industry, but we also use a wide variety of prey items, which would include frozen fish. We use trout, smelt, capelin, sardines, and herring. We also use what we like to say is rodents, because here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, we don't like to say certain words to upset Mickey Mouse. But we also use anoles. We use bones. Bones are used mostly for all of our big cats, which helps generate healthy teeth. And approximately we use over 6,700 different meat and prey items through any given week.
All right, so you basically prepare everything here at the center. Tell me about actually distributing it out throughout Animal Kingdom, the other places on property.
Okay. Like I said, we prepare all of our diets here. We're approximately 90% is all prepared, weighed out. All the keepers have to do is just dump in a bowl, and it's all ready for the animal. The 10% is actually some for our larger hoof stock. We actually deliver 50-pound bags of grain to the areas, and they empty them in containers, and they weigh out in those individual areas. With that, they also take care of the coastal hay, which they actually weigh out. They don't estimate. They actually put it on a scale, weigh it out to the exact gram, and then give out to the individual animals. Here at Animal Kingdom, our drivers start the morning at 5 a.m. and deliver throughout the park. They also go over to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and twice a week they go over to Epcot, to the Living Seas. And on any given day, we'll approximately put 50 miles on 2 different vehicles to deliver the diets and all the items that they need for a given day.
Gary, I'm wondering if, like people, animals' diets or animals' appetites, do they change, or is there some sort of a pattern, maybe seasonally, that the different animals have to eat different foods?
Yes, actually, the seasons and climate can play a big part in the animal's appetite. Prime example would be our Nile crocodiles. From the early spring to early fall, they actually get a prey item once a month. Then during the rest of the period, they actually get a specialized pelleted form that's specially made for crocodiles. But when it hits the fall, they actually reduce their appetite because their appetite's reduced, and they only get a pelleted form once a month and no prey items.
And other than maybe seeing animals eating the browse like on the safari, is there any place for guests to be able to actually watch animals being fed or eating throughout the day?
Here at Animal Kingdom, there's no specific time. Our animals are usually fed before the parks open, or usually after the parks close. Over at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you would have a great opportunity as a guest staying there at the lodge to see them out on the savannas feeding the animals food items or browse. But here at Animal Kingdom itself, it would be sporadic if they were doing a specific training item, but there was no set time. You would just have to enjoy the exhibits here at the park, and if you see one, enjoy that magical moment.
What about maybe on the safari? Is there maybe your little secret to the best time of the day, maybe early in the morning or later on in the afternoon, to watch them eating the browse?
Yes, I would go extremely early. The first chance when you come to the park, get on the ride. The animal's going to be a lot more active. They just went out. They just got their fresh browse on exhibit. If you don't get on the safari the first thing in the morning, then I would wait until the very last ride.
Excellent. What I'll do is I'll put a link up in our show notes this week to where listeners can get some more information. It's WDW Public Affairs / you go click on the Conservation tab. Gary, I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your day. Tell us a little bit about what goes on backstage and all the efforts that you guys do to really make Animal Kingdom and all of Walt Disney World such a really amazing place for us to see the animals in their natural habitat.
Well, thank you very much. We enjoy doing what we do. We're very dedicated to the conservation and the preservation of the animals. We love what we do. We try to do the best job that we can to make sure that these animals are healthy, well taken care of, and so our guests can enjoy seeing the animals.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I didn't get a chance to answer any of your listener email on the air last week. For that, I apologize, but let's go ahead and see how many we can get through. The first comes from Alan, who said, "Hey Lou, I really enjoy your show. I've been listening since December, and my question is this. Do the resorts frown upon guests parking at the hotels, then getting on the monorail to go over to the Magic Kingdom? I'm referring to the Grand Floridian, Contemporary, and the Polynesian, of course. I'm an annual pass holder member, so parking is free for me." Alan, thank you very much for the question. And yes, Disney does discourage this. That's not what the annual pass free parking is meant to do. This is a privilege that you have to allow for resort parking for guests who are going to be using the restaurants or the facilities at the resorts, and not really a way to bypass the TTC or not pay for parking. Where this can be used and should be used is, say, for example, you go to Ohana for dinner, or if you visit the boardwalk to dine or have drinks or go to some of the clubs, etc., you can park at the boardwalk using valet parking, use your annual pass, and park for free. And you should know that when you do go to any of these resorts, like the Polynesian, you will be stopped at the security gate. You will be asked why you're going there to park. They will give you a temporary parking permit that will only give you parking for a couple of hours. So again, this is not meant to be a way to gain entrance to the theme parks without paying for parking. Sue wrote to me and said, Lou, I'm going to Orlando for a business trip at the end of May. I know this is a huge stretch, but is there any way to get discounted tickets for, say, only evening hours or half a day? I want to go, but know I can only go in the evenings, but don't want to pay for a full day. Like I said, there probably is no such animal, but if someone would know, it would be you. Thanks, hope you're well. And again, that's from Sue, a listener in Fairfax, and she said, fellow 2007 half marathon participant. Well, Sue, there are no half-day tickets available unless you are a Florida resident, and that's a pass that will give you admission to Epcot only in the afternoon and evenings after 4 p.m. That's used by locals who only want to go to Epcot, say, for example, to go to the restaurants or maybe enjoy Illuminations, hit an attraction or two if they can. However, there is something called a convention ticket option. That is an after 4 p.m. convention delegate ticket. Those are about $40 to $43. Those are available from Disney for corporate and group events. You didn't give many details about what kind of trip you're going on, where it is, if it's on property. If so, you should check with the group or individual that's organizing the conference or whatever that you're going to, because they may have secured these type of tickets from Disney. Again, you cannot purchase these tickets online or at the gate, but you or whoever is coordinating your group might want to go to disneymeetings.disney.go.com for more information and possible availability. And speaking of conventions, Paul in Texas wrote and said, Lou, my wife has a 3-day business convention in Orlando this August, and I've convinced her to let me go with her. And with them, we'll stay a few extra days after the convention's over and go to the parks without the kids. During the days, she's very busy with her meetings, and I'm looking forward to some relaxation and getting to walk around and experience some of the out-of-the-park wonders. I already plan on a thorough visit of downtown Disney and the boardwalk area, but I was wondering if it would be worthwhile to visit Disney's Wide World of Sports. Is there anything to tour or see there? Do you have to pay the daily admission, which I think is around $11 per person per day, to go? Or if you just want to go and visit an event. I haven't seen a schedule that far out yet for any potential sporting events going on during my stay. I'm a big sports fan and think this would be interesting, but I just want to know what I can expect. Are there any other out-of-the-parks things that I should put on my itinerary? Love the podcast and all the great advice and insight you give on every show. Can't wait for your help on this one. Again, that's from Paul in Texas. Paul, I also checked the Wide World of Sports website, and although I did see things through May and June, there was not anything that far out. However, I do know that in July, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do start training camp, and I believe that will probably run through August, so I'm not exactly sure when your trip is, but you might actually be able to catch them there. I do not believe there's any admission to go and watch the team practice, but I would keep an eye on the Wide World of Sports website. I'll put a link to that up in this week's show notes to find out exactly what's there. If there are no events going on, you may be able to gain admission. I know there is no fee to park, and kind of walk around, but I don't know what exactly of the facilities might actually be open and available for you to tour on your own. Kelly wrote to me and said, Lou, I was just listening to show number 52, and I remember a AAA-sponsored lounge in Tomorrowland over by the stage area where the Christmas show is presented. Is that still open? Kelly, I believe the lounge you're talking about is the AAA VIP lounge. That's located in Tomorrowland to the right-hand side of the Carousel of Progress. That is not for AAA employees, but instead for those who may have booked their travel through AAA. When you do book your vacation through AAA, you do get some exclusive member benefits for a package of 3 or more nights, including access to the VIP lounge in Tomorrowland. That gives you a place for a little air-conditioned break, some light snacks and refreshments. You also get a diamond card that gives you price breaks on certain meals in participating locations. You also get AAA Diamond parking, which is preferred parking at all of the Walt Disney World theme parks. And I believe there's also some other discounted packages, so if you are a AAA member, that might be an option that you want to pursue when looking to book your trip. Next email says, Lou, my husband and I will be staying at the Boardwalk on May 2nd, and we need to know if we can enter the International Gateway before the official World Showcase opening to get over to Future World. It would be kind of silly to have to ride a bus to Epcot to get in before 11, don't you think? Thanks for all you do. That's from Kim in Tolland, Connecticut. Kim, thank you for the email, and yes, I have good news for you. You can take the International Gateway, which is accessible from Disney's Boardwalk, into World Showcase even before World Showcase opens at 11. Remember, Epcot's Future World normally opens at 9. World Showcase doesn't open till 11. However, if you access Epcot through the International Gateway, you'll see that the bridge towards France is closed off. There'll be a cast member there preventing you from going that way. You will be directed to the left-hand side, which will take you through the United Kingdom and Canada to give you access to Future World. But I have to say, it's actually very cool to kind of walk that way in the morning because there's nobody there and kind of gives you a very unique look at the pavilions. You can't really browse through. The shops aren't open. The attractions aren't open. But it's nice to kind of feel as though you have that little part of World Showcase all to yourself. Next email comes from Jeff in Crown Point, Indiana, who said, "Hey Lou, I was wondering if you or your listeners might help me out with something. Starting with our honeymoon, my wife and I have bought Mickey ears for every trip to the world that we've taken. We'll try to tailor the ears to help us remember the trip. Jack-o'-lantern ears for Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party and the Year of a Million Dreams Light Up are just a few examples. Therefore, we have a lot of ears. And up to this point, we've just been setting them on a shelf, but I was wondering if you had any ideas of a better way to display them. I thought you might ask your listeners to suggest ideas. Thanks, Lou. Love the show. Jeff, that's a great idea, and I'm sure you're probably not the only one that collects Mickey ears. I will leave the creative aspects up to the listeners. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to go over and start a thread on the WDW radio show forums on DisneyWorldTrivia.com. I'll ask the listeners to go on over and see if they can come up with any sort of creative ideas for you and anybody else that wants to try and display their Mickey ears at home. Next email says, "Dear Lou, I seem to bother you once a month, but hopefully this should be it for a while." Never a bother. But anyway, I have 3 questions, and unfortunately I think the third might stump you, but I'll have every faith that you'll answer it. The first question: my aunt, uncle, and their 5 children, ages 3 to 12, are going to Walt Disney World April 23rd through the 29th. After finding out about all the extra stuff from your podcasts, I was wondering if you knew of any testings, soft openings, real openings, special events, etc., and general extra stuff during that time. I'd love for my cousins to go back and tell their classmates about how they rode X before it opened. Well, you might be in luck because there is a possibility that Toy Story Mania might actually be open for a soft opening. Again, this is a total hit or miss. It's not something that they'll find on a schedule, but they might just get lucky if they kind of walk by that area a number of times. They might just have some soft openings for an hour or two throughout the day. Other things that are going on that they can tell their classmates about is the 15th Annual Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival that I've talked about on the show before. That's going on until June 1st. And depending on what time they arrive on the 23rd, that's actually one of the nights for Mickey's Pirate and Princess Party over in the Magic Kingdom. So if they really want to try and plus their vacation, do something a little extra special, they can attend the Pirate and Princess Party, which is always a good time. Question 2. The oldest broke her wrist last week, and while I don't know when the cast will be taken off, chances are very good that if she isn't in the cast during her time at Disney, it'll only be because the cast was taken off very recently. What type of attractions could she safely ride with or without the cast? Is there any special treatment because she broke her wrist? Because of the type of injury she has, there probably won't be any special accommodations given, whereas she wouldn't have to wait in line because it's not something where she can't stand for a long time, etc. I can't think of anything off the top of my head regarding safety concerns, although her score on Buzz Lightyear might suffer just a little bit. Maybe she can't drive a car over at the Indy Speedway. She may have difficulty sort of holding her funnel cake with one hand, trying to break off a piece and eat it with the other, so I'd use some extreme caution there. But other than that, she probably wouldn't have any problems on most of the rides, again, depending on how large and uncomfortable the cast might be. Question 3, which has nothing to do with my previous questions, is this. I'm a Darkwing Duck fan, and after listening to your description of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, I realized that Darkwing is the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride of cartoons. You have realistic-looking guns, realistic shootings, off-screens, quote-unquote non-Disney death, such as Darkwings in one episode, and humor that no kid would get, like an entire episode that was a parody of Twin Peaks. No kid would get that. Sorry for the long intro and all the parentheses, but my question boils down to this. Is Darkwing Duck anywhere in the parks? I know there was a show with him in it around 92, but is there anything in the parks today? Sarah, I don't believe that Darkwing Duck can be found anywhere in the parks still as a walk-around character that you can interact with, but you're right, he was featured in the parks back in 90, 91, 92 in Mickey's Magical TV World show. It then became the Disney Afternoon show in Birthday Land. I know the Gummy Bears were featured there for about 1 year in 90 or 91. Then Darkwing came back, and then the DuckTales characters were later replaced by the Goof Troop. So I don't believe, other than maybe a photo of him here and there, you might not be able to find him in the parks. You go on to say, thanks for the great work. The recent Snacks Around the World brought back great memories of my family pastry from around the world segment. Napoleon won, baklava was second, but I remain very fond of the Gloaming Horn and creme brulee, and because of you, Sunday is now my favorite day of the week. Sarah, thank you very much for the email and great questions. The last email this week is going to come from Craig, who said, Lou, I just don't get the barcode changes for park entrance. Today, your ticket information is stored on the magnetic stripe on the Key to the World card. What would be stored on a barcode that isn't already or couldn't be stored on the magnetic stripe? I guess I just don't see any advantage to adding a barcode in addition to the existing magnetic stripe. This doesn't seem to provide any more protection from transferring tickets than just a barcode, and it doesn't add the capability to store information that isn't already available with the magnetic stripe. Do you have any further thoughts or explanation that didn't make it onto the show? Thanks, Craig. Craig, when I was down in Walt Disney World a couple of weeks ago, I did see these in use in the turnstiles at the Magic Kingdom, though they weren't being used at all the turnstiles at all times. When we entered during a very busy part of the day, they had the scanning system on, again, on just random turnstiles here and there. Now, instead of pulling your card out, putting it through the slot, waiting for the green light to come on, having to scan your finger and then get access through the actual turnstile, the cast member simply takes your card, scans it the barcode as you walk through. It's much, much quicker, and I think that's really the purpose of it as opposed to trying to include additional information on the card. What this really does is it takes the guest interaction out of the equation. So now a guest that might not be familiar with how the finger scanner works doesn't have to worry about where they put the card, putting the finger on, or did I use my left hand, my right hand, my middle finger, my index finger, and all the things that slow down the process. As I said, I definitely saw better throughput, and I'm not sure if they're going to use this system exclusively or just during the busy periods, but if that is the purpose of it, it definitely does work as far as making the process much, much quicker. So that's all the time I have for email this week. I appreciate you all sending in your emails. If you have a question, a comment, anything that you want answered, feel free to email me at lou@wdwradio.com. You can also call the voicemail anytime at 206-202-4WDW. Thank you for tuning in again this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. A very special thanks goes out to the Walt Disney World Company and specifically Michael Collier, the Quality Assurance Manager for Disney's Vacation Club. You can learn more about the DVC by visiting DisneyVacationClub.com. I also want to thank Gary from Disney's Animal Nutrition Center and everyone else backstage at Disney's Animal Kingdom who spent time with me recently during my visit. As we get closer to Disney's Animal Kingdom's 10th anniversary event next month, I'll have more from Disney's Animal Kingdom, as well as the Wild Decade event in the parks, which I'll be attending and covering for the show. I also have a few surprises and some very special guests in store for you over the next few weeks, so please be sure and stay tuned. If you want to be a part of the show and get on the air, the easiest way is simply to call in to the WDW Radio Show voicemail hotline at 206-202-4WDW. That's 206-202-4939. You can call in with your questions, comments, topic suggestions, reviews, reports, and anything else, including just a phone call from the parks. You can also email me your questions at lou@wdwradio.com to have your questions answered on the show. Please come by the show notes page at wdwradio.com. There I'll post additional information, photos, and links to topics I cover on the show each week. You'll also find links to the WDW Radio Show forums at DisneyWorldTrivia.com, where you can log in and discuss anything you hear on the show. You're also going to find links to some of my recommended products and services, including many valuable trip planning resources, such as Orlando Fun Tickets, where you can get the best price and best service on discounted and official Disney theme park tickets, and Owner's Locker. You can have your own secure storage locker with just about anything you can imagine inside, delivered to and from your resort. You can also find links to my recommended travel provider, Mouse Fan Travel, as well as so much more. And be sure and check out the new issue of Orlando Attractions Magazine at attractionsmagazine.com, which includes information about all of the local Orlando theme parks, including a report on Animal Kingdom's Lodge and more. Don't forget that my first audio guide to Walt Disney World is now available as either a CD or instantly downloadable MP3 file, complete with all artwork at DisneyWorldTrivia.com. Also on the site, be sure and check out all the new features, including news, articles, my blog, expanded trivia section, as well as the happiest forums on Earth. And look for more information about my upcoming 2009 Walt Disney World calendar coming soon as well. Finally, if you are a fan of the show and want to show it, you can get your official WDW Radio t-shirts and sweatshirts from the link on the site as well. And as always, if you like the show, please review us on iTunes, and more importantly, please help spread the word, let others know about it. Have a great week, and thanks for tuning in again. See ya.
Hey, Lou, this is Alan Lethbridge from Orlando, Florida. I just wanted to tell you my wife and I were at Disney Hollywood Studios today and went into One Man's Dream and were awarded 2 of the pin sets, the Year of a Million Dreams pin sets by Holly and Avis. And it was unbelievable. It was so cool. First of all, I'd never been to that attraction. So to go there, but to walk in and actually win the pin sets that made it just even more better. And that's actually our 3rd time winning. We won 2 weeks ago at the Magic Kingdom, twice in one day, Dream Fast passes at Splash Mountain and Space Mountain. So we feel pretty lucky. So I just wanted to call and let you know. I love the show. Been listening for a while, and keep up the good work, and I'll keep listening. Thanks, Lou.